All right, welcome back, everybody. This week's going to be a guilty pleasure of mine, I guess. So this is Octopus's Garden by the Beatles. Great track off of their Abbey Road album in 1969. And it's a Ringo sung song, as you know, but great guitar arrangement on it. Very distinctive parts, rhythm guitar. It's got some Travis fingerpicking from John Lennon and great sort of country-ish lead guitar played by George Harrison. I'm going to break down all of those for you today, and I hope you enjoy. Also, be sure to stay tuned to the end of the video. I'm going to pop some links up of another great YouTuber that I love that does great work on Beatles songs, and he's got a couple demonstrations of Octopus's Garden where he just takes you through one sort of the version that we all know and love from the album, and then there's another one that's got a lot of extra sort of noodling solos that George Harrison actually played but didn't make it into the final mix. So stay tuned to the end of the video. Those links will pop up. And if this is the kind of thing that you like and you haven't done so yet, hey, jump down, click subscribe, and ring the bell. The bell will let you know when I drop new content, and I do that every single week. All my videos have chapters in them, so you can jump right to the part of the lesson that you want to see and bypass what you don't. And if you're looking for other ways to support the channel, I appreciate that. There's thanks, just like throwing a tip in the tip jar. Or you can join my Patreon page where I've got chord charts and tabs for all the lessons I do on YouTube, just like this one. Links in the description, so check it out. All right, Octopus's Garden. So, wow, this is super fun. And this is one of those songs, if you've got a band and you break this out live, nobody expects to hear it. Nobody. And everybody loves it. Everybody. So it's a winner. If you haven't worked this one up, do it. Let's talk about the rhythm guitar part first. So this is played by John Lennon. By all accounts, he's playing his Epiphone Casino on this one. And this is going to make use of the Travis picking, fingerstyle. So he's not using a pick on this at all. This is going to make use of the Travis picking method that he learned from Donovan when they were in India in 1968. They were away on a holiday, and he learned this picking pattern. It's a folky kind of pattern, and a lot of songs from that point on sort of showed up with him doing that, especially on the White Album. Like, you know, Julia used it, Dear Prudence. There's a bunch, and this song. So I'm gonna show you how that works first. And then we'll get into the actual parts that he's playing, okay? So we're in standard tuning. And this Travis picking, now Travis picking is just loosely defined as you're using your thumb to pick a bass pattern, a bass note pattern that's independent from a melodic sort of a melody that you're playing on the top pitched strings on top of that. So you've got an independent thing happen with your thumb, and you've got independent different things happening with your fingers, and as opposed to a strum, right? So this particular pattern, let's just talk about what he does with the thumb. So the thumb is going to do a pattern that's, no matter what chord you're on, he's playing the string, the fifth string, the fourth string, the sixth string, the fourth string, right? So let me take an E chord, for example. I'm not going to play the higher pitched strings here. I'm just going to do the thumb. So the thumb is going to do this. And I'm playing it very sloppily, but you get the idea. Fifth, fourth, sixth, fourth. And you're just doing that. And then on top of that, you're adding on the other strings, the other three strings into it. So the way that's going to happen is you're going to pick the first string that you pick, you're going to do in tandem. You're going to do your fifth string with your thumb, and you're going to pick your first string. Right? Is the first one. So then your thumb's going to come up here to 4, like we learned. And your finger's going to catch that third string. And then we're going to keep going. Got that lower one. And then we'll add on our B string. We haven't plucked our B string yet. And that's the whole pattern. So if this is new, if that part is new, you'll spend a lot of time on that, just getting that under your belt. But once you do, it unlocks so much, because you can take that same right hand, if you can just work independently with your right hand like that, it doesn't matter what chord you have on your left hand. So here's E, here's A, here's B, here's C sharp minor. See what I mean? Doesn't matter what it is. So it's a great pattern if you haven't learned that yet. That's what that is. But John utilizes that picking pattern on this song. Okay? So now what's he playing? So the intro comes in with George's little intro lick. And what John does to complement that is he does this little slide in on an E flat to an E. And he just sort of hits that. I'm hitting it with my fingernail, sort of going down, right? But that's John's part during that. Then the rest of the lead, that's John coming in. And the first chord we're going to do with our Travis pick then is going to be an open E chord, right? Quickly jump to a C sharp minor. And we want to make sure that we cover off all the way across to the 6th string, because remember, we're playing that bass note. Bass, right? You always want to have that 6th string covered. A to B. So again, that intro. Into our verse. Okay, so that's the intro. Your verse, your chords are E, C sharp minor, A, and B, with the Travis picking that we just learned. Now we're going to go to our pre-chorus. And here he breaks from the Travis picking. He's just going to hit that C sharp minor. And when you listen to the isolated tracks, which is so great that YouTube has those out there now, or someone put them on YouTube, I should say, you hear John do this with his finger. Just that little flare. Right? So then the chords are moving from C sharp minor, B to A, but he doesn't play them, fully chorded like that. What he does is he takes his fingers and you're going to hit your 5th string, your 1st string, and your 2nd string. So one time across the chord. Now pick that chord with those 3 strings once. Take your pinky up, drop it down to your B note, which is your 7th fret on your E string, and you're going to play that as the bass note with your thumb, and still pick the 1st and 2nd string. So, right? Then a big A, open A chord to a mini B bar chord. So that again. he does it there too. He does that little same notes. Now your chorus is the same as the verse. And he does a tiny little thing that's different when he leads into the verse now. And you can sort of hear him hit that seventh on one of those isolated tracks, but what it really sounds like with the other instruments and everything coming in, it sounds like this. Just sounds like that. That's kind of what you hear. So sets you up for the next verse and you go around again, right? So that is really all of the parts on the main sort of verse and pre-chorus chorus. Great. Now what happens is when he transitions into the guitar solo, it's so great. I'm saying they, the way they designed the arrangement, the song, they took that exact same chord sequence relationship, 1, minor 6, 4, 5. That's what the chords are, right? Relative to E. They take the whole thing and they just pivot now. Instead of E being your root chord, A is now. And it's the same chord relationship. 1, minor 6, 4, 5. A, F sharp minor, D, E. And he plays them in those positions. Same pattern. One more. Jump up here. Quick E, A. And we have to get ourselves back to E for our verses. So the best way to do that is to lead into that from the fifth of that chord. And the fifth of that chord, E, is B. So he goes up to B, and it sets you up to come back here again. Right? So that second part of the solo, beautiful. Love that. And now the only part left on rhythm guitar is what happens during the outro, right? So last chorus. C sharp minor. A. One more. He does that at the end. So it's how he opens the song and how he closes the song. I think that's so cool. All right, well, let's talk about the lead guitar now. All right, now pivoting to the lead guitar, so played by George Harrison. Somewhat of a controversy out on the interwebs on what guitar he played. You know, it's obviously Fender single coil. You know, he had his Rosewood Telecaster at that time. Could have been that. Sounds a lot like it could be, but it also sounds like it could be a Strat. And I'm just loving my Strat this week. So I'm playing it a lot, and I'm going to play it on this song. So there you go. So, all right. So the intro and all the other noodling parts are on sort of a neck pickup setting, in my opinion. And the lead is where you throw it back to the bridge, okay? But let's go through the parts. So George opens the song with that great little country lick. So throughout the song, George mostly is going to be using the major pentatonic scale shape for this. All of the stuff during the opening and the verses and the outro, that's based in E. So this is the position. You can see over my shoulder. It's the E. When we go to the solo, it's the exact same position, but we're going to pivot it up to the A because it's an A, right? So, but that's what's going on. Now, all this is tabbed out for you for my Patreon members exactly, that you can download. But I'm going to take you through each one of the parts here. So it opens up, like I said, right out of the gate on this E major pentatonic position. And slowly, what he's going to be doing is moving from, think of that E position, and this E position. He's bouncing between those, utilizing the notes in the scale, okay? Slowly, it's... Okay? I think that's a bend there. It's either a bend or a... but I think it sounds more like a bend. So I got that hammer on there. Hammer on. One more time. Now I'm catching that E note. And then we're going to slide into our E. You can hear him sort of do that. So fun. But everything up to that point was single note. Single note. That's all single note. Nice. So that's how he closes it out. And he hits a little E note on the end there. Now, during the verses, he kind of lays off. There's a little bit of noodles that pop up at the very end of that first verse. You hear him do this right before John does his, or that little transition into the second verse, right? Then he starts layering in a couple little things on the next verse. Resting our head, I think, is the lyric. So again, that's our E pentatonic position. Ending because the next chord is an A. That's why that note's in there. Well, those little noodles pretty much take us up to the guitar solo part. So now we're in A, remember? We transition from the E chord to the A. The A-based 1 minor 6 4 5. So I'm going to throw us back to the bridge pickup to get a little more spank on that. So we're going to play this solo based on A, and I mentioned that we're going to take that exact same scale shape that we had down here, and we're going to slide it up here to the A. It's exact same notes, or the positions, I guess, for what he's going to solo in here. Right before he gets to that, before he starts soloing in A, the chord that's tailing off at the end there is an E. And so he gets to it by sliding into an E, the part of an E chord. Right? Now he goes right into his pentatonic. So that's just bending up here. And you're catching that 14th fret on the first string. And we're going to come up here and make a part of an A chord. Here's an A chord. We're just making that. So everything to that point. Now this is just a variation of what we did a minute ago. Right, just ending that little A note there. And there's a little tail off that he does. Remember the next chord that they move to is a B before they go back to the E. You can hear him just do this little... Catch those little two notes there. He might be hitting it here, but it sounds like it's more full up here because that's where his fingers are anyway. So running through that again. There you go. Poor man's country. So then it goes around again, another verse, and there's a little bit of noodling that happens. I'm going to come back to my neck pickup here. So on the last chorus, before we're going into the outro, I'd like to be, he does this. So you're thinking of an E chord here. And you're sort of playing with that theme, moving it down to the next sort of, instead of second and third string, now you're sort of taking the same idea based on the same chord and you're moving it on first and second string. Right? So the first one. Then we're going to go to our C sharp minor. Octopus is coming. Love that one. That's just a major bend, so you're going to take it at the 14th fret and bend it up to 16, because that's your major note. And then you're going to do it again, but you're going to come up short. You're going to sort of land on 15. Just a little cry, right? Like it's the only minor note in the whole song. Yeah. And then that ending lick. Almost identical to what we did in the middle. But again, just right out of that E major pentatonic scale, right? All right. Like I said, guilty pleasure of mine. I love this song, love playing it live. Everybody loves hearing this, and nobody expects it. And it's so fun. So that was Octopus's Garden by the Beatles. I hope you learned something new today. If you like what you saw and you haven't done so yet, jump down, subscribe, ring the bell. The bell will let you know when I drop new content, which I'm going to do next week. So let me know in the comments what you thought about this, and let me know if there's another song you want me to take on and do a lesson similar. And until next week, take care, everybody.